And they're off.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. Mostly sunny skies on this Thursday. The main track is good and harrowed. We are off the turf today, no turf racing. We do have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6, and that carryover is $307,132. Right now, we'll take a look at the changes for today's 10-race card. First race, off the turf, will be run at the same distance. Scratch 1, Glynn County, part of an entry. Scratch 5, Holy Emperor, 7, Compliant, and 8, Cat. Scratch 1, 5, 7, and 8. Note that number 3, Stone Castle, is a Ridgeling, and number 9, Lost in Rome, will be ridden by Louis Saez. Saez on the 9. Second race, note that number 3, Long Term Thinking, is a Ridgeling. The third race is the P.G. Johnson Stakes. This race is off the turf. Will now go on the main track at the distance of 7 furlongs. There's no show, trifecta, or superfecta wagering. Scratch 1, Invincible Gal, 2, Plum Alley, and 3, Mischievous Dream. Scratch 1, 2, and 3. Number 5, Union Gables. The rider is Erod Ortiz Jr. Erod Ortiz Jr. on the 5. And number 6, Conlima. The rider is Jose Ortiz. Jose Ortiz rides the 6. Fourth race, scratch number 2, Stay Fond. Scratch the 2. Race 5 is off the turf. It'll be run on the main track at 7 furlongs. These scratches, scratch 1A, Niji. 4, Holy Breeze. Scratch the 5, Stella Mars. 7, Herald Angel. 8, Classic Colors. And 11, Delaware Destiny. Scratch 1A, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 11. Number 12, Sweeter, will be ridden by Joel Rosario. Rosario rides the 12. Race 6 is the Park Avenue division of the New York Stallion Stakes. Note that number 1, Homedale Park, is 2 pounds over. Race 7 off the turf on the main track now at 7 furlongs. Scratch 1, Kitten by the Sea, part of an entry. Scratch 3, Sun Summers. 4, Tilting at Windmills. 5, 5 Alarm Robin. Continuing with the scratches, scratch 7, Seeking Revenge. 10, Music of Life. And 11, 'Tis a Kitten. Again, the scratches in the 7th. Scratch numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, and 11. These rider changes. Number 6, Let Me Have It. Louis Saez. Saez on the 6. Number 12, We Don't Believe Her. Erod Ortiz Jr. Erod Ortiz Jr. on the 12. And number 13, Rubies in Time, the rider Jose Lescano. Lescano on the 13. In the 8th race, scratch number 7, Miss Lily B. Scratch the 7. In the 9th race, there will be no place, show, exacta, trifecta, or superfecta wagering. There will be win and double wagering only. Scratch 3, Palace Athene. 4, Traipsing. 6, Lovely Lucky. 7, Miss Tehran. And 8, Orglandes. Scratch 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. And number 5, Foxtail, will be ridden by Erod Ortiz Jr. Erod Ortiz Jr. on the 5. Race 10, off the turf on the main track at 7 furlongs. Scratch 2, Red Light Racer. 7, Arch of Fire. 9, Apurate. And 10, Counterparty Risk. Scratch 2, 7, 9, and 10. Several changes for the 8, Halo City. She will be 1 pound over. Halo City will race with cheek pieces off and will race with blinkers on. That's all for number 8, Halo City. Main track, good and harrowed. We are off the turf today. And there's a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of more than $307,000. We will return at 12:30 to reprise the changes. Today's first race post is at 1:10. Up next, the Thursday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses on what's turning into a very nice Thursday here, September 3rd at Saratoga. After yesterday's deluge, we are off the turf again today. We're looking forward to a good weekend as the weather is going to be good, or is expected to be extremely good throughout the weekend. Keep in mind, of course, Talking Horses is brought to you by our good friends at Saratoga Water, and we really do thank them for their support in bringing you Talking Horses during the 2020 Saratoga meeting. But we are off the turf today. Anthony Stabile is to my left. He'll be discussing the many off-the-turf races and old car with you, but there are opportunities. I mean, even yesterday seemed to be some opportunities in yesterday's card and some decent prices sprinkled throughout. Pick fives paid well, so there will be opportunities on this card as well. And the way to take advantage of those opportunities and all opportunities is to play through NYRA support racing in New York. Play through NYRA. Keep the money in horse racing. It is not a game that can afford to have money taken out of the game, and your bets at NYRA go towards New York racing. We'll give you a free $25 play as well as matching up to $200 of your initial deposit. Use promo code Derby25 and go to NYRABets.com, sign up for NYRA and enjoy the many great things that NYRA has to offer, like every Thursday you play this late pick five through the betting app, which we do. And if you hit, you will split $2,000 among any and all people through NYRA that hit the pick five. Anthony, what'd you get? $27 the other day, and a friend of mine got $667 when he was one of three people. So you can make a score. It's just free added money and more reason to play the late pick five, which yesterday paid over twice the parlay. Parlay was about $250 for
show off
50 cents. No, I'm just saying what it paid.
I know.
And it paid, I think, $538 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
Nice number.
Sunday contest, one contest left. And these contests have been terrific. And last Sunday's contest was quite the battle, watching it when we do Saratoga Live. $250 buy-in, all cash prizes. We'll see the pool with $2,500. One left. You have to play through NYRA. You can register now at NYRA.com/challenge. And finally, Saratoga Live today, America's Day at the Races, covering all the action from Churchill where they got rain, and it is off the turf at Churchill as well. Be covering their races, NYRA.com/Saratoga Live for all the networks that we will be offering the show, as well as the NYRA YouTube channel, which also has preview videos, handicapping videos for the Derby and Oaks, which I did yesterday morning. Anthony, how are you, man?
Good morning.
Everything good?
Yeah.
We just saw our main man, Nick Zito, just stop by.
How could the day not be great when you talk to a Hall of Famer, somebody I've known here at the racetrack literally since I was born, and nice to know that he had more confidence in your selections than not mine, and it cost him the pick 5.
That was funny. We were discussing a race where he ended up using my horse and not Anthony's, and Anthony's won at 7-1, and mine was Ease. And I said to him, that's pretty much how the entire meeting has gone. Nick also had his
Naira Bets card. Yep, you can get those all across town. We were selling
stores,
them.
I believe.
They were selling them like hotcakes over at Prime during the day at the races. Still over there, I believe.
Also,
right next
all
to the
Stewart
post parade.
shops are available as well. Which, yeah.
Got a nice little Naira flavor up here in Saratoga because you have the post parades up here as well. And I know a lot of people miss their post parade program, but we have them over at Prime as well. So,
You know why they missed the post parade? Because the track trends are in there.
Track trends are in there. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine
Anthony,
it had anything to do with anything. The analysis, the morning line picks.
Track trends are updated through yesterday. I just want you to know they are fully updated through yesterday's card. Thought the rail was good yesterday. May have gotten
so
better
did
as the
Ortiz
day
Jr.
wore on. But I think if you watch it, even the last race, that horse who ran very well and finished second there and arguably ran the best race, he was on the rail, and I think it helped him.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Doesn't mean it's the case today. We are good in Harrowed right now.
Much different racetrack. Much different racetrack you would think today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice out. It's like you said, it's sunny, and there's a little humidity in the air, so it's a little warm. I think some of that moisture will leave the surface.
I was just looking at the scratch at Churchill. They said 91% humidity there. I'm thinking
that's not fun. I'll tell you, that is the weirdest place when it comes. You think it's weird up here with weather? I went to the 08 Derby. We got 3 inches of rain the night before. They had to put water on the track by the 5th race Derby day.
The good news is they're not expecting any
No,
rain.
supposed to blow out of there sometime mid-afternoon today, and then supposed to be absolutely brilliant. I think 82 and sunny all day Derby day. All right. And the Derby don't go off till 7 o'clock. So
I'm aware of that. Race number 1 is off the turf. What did you do in race number 1, Anthony?
I wound up with the number 6, Magic Mojo, for my buddy Jimmy Jerkins.
Because
couple of turf races rather did not have the best start first time out. Things did not go much better in the stretch second time out when he was the cause of the DQ of the good-looking first out winner Price Hall.
He was bothered by the DQ. Oh,
yeah.
He was the horse. No, he wasn't the cause of the DQ. He was. Oh, you're saying he was the horse.
Yeah, he was the reason the horse came down.
Of course, that was the second race of the meet, and I bet him.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I remember. He took a really good bump that day. No, look, he's an Uncle Mo. He's out of a Giants Causeway mare, so I can't imagine dirt's going to be a problem. This race, unlike some of the others, stays at 1 1/8 today. So 1 1/8 on a turf, natural transition.
And that's the important question
it is.
Because the horse to beat is the 9 Lost in Rome, who's the MTO. He's run successive good races. He comes off the claim for Bruce Levine and Flying P. But his horse has to get 1 1/8. But to be fair, he was third going a mile, but that was a very slow race. He has improved since then. But I do think you have to wonder, is distance a question? Tail of Acadia's sire, while he ran, he beat Warpath, speaking of Nick Zito, when he won the Wood Memorial. He was more of a miler, though.
Yeah, he was more of a one-turn kind of horse.
Cigar Mile, won the Jerome.
Yeah, he was more of a one-turn kind of horse.
Trained by Barclay Tag. He's got a horse in this weekend?
He's got one in, I think he got one in this weekend. Some 17 horse.
I just worry about him in the distance.
And look, I put him third. Probably should have put him second, but the distance does. And then, like you said, the mileage. I mean, that was a very slow race.
Leoka Road is a little interesting too. The quality road. Julia Tuttle, was she a dirt or turf horse?
I thought she was.
Was she Steve Asmussen?
Yeah, she was a nice dirt horse. I want to say she was. Was she Helga Brott? I don't. But she was dirt horse.
Look her up.
She's a little interesting. First time for Mike Maker. The drop in for the tag, from the fairgrounds made in special races. I don't know if it's much of a drop in for the tag. It's just different. She's in to be claimed today. I thought she improved a lot with the addition of blinkers and second times out last time.
That was a race that completely held together. Oh, you know who I believe Julia Tuttle is the dam of? Tom Stay Tot. That bum.
Wow.
That's what Steve just said to me. See if somebody else checks in.
So this horse won't be better until she's, 6?
I like this. I'll defend. I'm still annoyed that this I'll defend lost that race last year at 17-1 on August 3rd. But are we so sure that this I'll defend isn't a decent enough dirt horse? It's running okay figures. It's running okay figures last year as a 2-year-old. Hasn't been on the dirt since then, or 2 back he was actually, but that was down at Gulfstream. I'm going to take a shot with this horse.
Fair enough.
Distance might be a little
I
far.
don't have a lot of
I
confidence.
just thought this I'll be defend would be a square enough price, and I know this horse can run in the dirt, so I took a small shot with this. I'll defend.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of
Or our
confidence.
man Rob
in anybody.
Masiello.
I'll probably start things off using the 4 of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could use all of those horses. I didn't really see Magic Mojo as much. I actually meant to put the 1A third. I just left the 6 third when I was redoing my picks. Probably should have gone not 4, 9, 1A.
That puts Stone Castle right in the winner's circle.
Who's Stone Castle?
The only other horse in the race.
Yes. Okay.
Three.
Never been on the dirt before. Race number 2. We'll take a look at long-term thinking's last race on November 3rd, won second to Sums Sound. I know it's a long layoff and a big drop down, but do you think he found the right field?
Oh man, wow! That whole you and me in a horse suit thing. We might be able to pull off a top 3 finish in here.
You in the front or back?
You don't want me in the front.
I don't want you in the back either. I mean, listen, you have to be careful because this is a horse that has not run since November. It's now a 10-month layoff. He's dropping precipitously. Strong connections or not, these kind of horses are always eligible not to show up.
And now you start to play the handicapping game. How important are the wins to Chad Brown and to Klarovich Stables?
But you have to also realize this is a 4-year-old, soon to be a 5-year-old, that's run 3 times. So he's obviously got his share
Shouldn't
of
be a
issues.
maiden, by the way. Shouldn't be a maiden.
Right. I was a terrible DQ.
That was one of the 5 worst DQs I've ever seen in my life
really
at Monmouth Park.
Preposterous. I remember you texted me because you were down there, right? And
No, that was the other one.
Oh, okay.
That was the one in September. This one was just as bad, maybe worse.
Yeah, somebody texted me. Maybe you saw it and said to me.
I was.
And I looked at it. I just looked later and I went, wow, they took this horse down.
Yep.
I agree. But still, it's his 4th start, end of his 4-year-old year. Where's he going? What non-winners are ones he winning? What
I
maiden
don't
specials he
disagree
winning?
with any of it. I don't disagree with any of it.
It is 20. It's a sharp drop. Trying to win races, I get that. But
And
I
they
don't think
know
it's
they're going to lose him today. Like, they know this horse for $20,000, they'll be
But
7
in general,
people in for him.
people claim from Chad Brown have done okay with the horses, but they've rarely moved up. They've
Right.
won, but they've won around where they've been claimed
Correct.
from. So we'll see. Where'd you go out behind him?
I went to the firster because, kind of like you said.
Because?
So this one's a little interesting. The mare, Sam's sister, was 5 for 11. She won the La Brea. First fall, they paid $350 for this horse, and this horse is debuting for $20,000.
What did she won almost $500,000,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
92
she
buyer?
was the real deal.
Yeah.
She was the real deal.
This one bothered me.
And I don't blame you. I don't blame you
But
for
Mike
being
Rapoli
bothered
trying to
by
win
all
here?
this. Yeah.
How do you think that Mike Rapoli? How do you think the phone calls go between Mike Rapoli and Mike Maker? Mike talks as much as I do, and Mike Maker doesn't talk.
Mike Maker talks about as much as Cecil Putnam, the woman who works for Suge McGee, who works part-time.
Oh, yeah, Cecil's great.
In the press office. Cecil's the best.
Great, yeah.
But she doesn't say much. I don't know if her and Mike Maker, if they ever went to dinner together, it would be like watching a Charlie
I had
Chaplin
dinner
movie.
with Mike at this meet. He talked, but
You
not as much.
got Mike Maker to talk more than I've ever seen in my life.
Well, Mike Maker also went to dinner with myself and Kirk Wyckoff, 2 people who can probably talk more than any 2 people on the planet Earth.
Yeah, that's
So
98%,
even if he
2%. He
wanted to
just
talk-
sat there. He sat the 3-hole there. He was very happy there. Very happy there. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't. I don't trust any of
What
the
about
other horses
Dream
that
on
have
Me,
run.
Baby? Getting back on the dirt for Danny Gargan.
Yeah,
I don't know,
blinkers
this
come
does
off,
have some
back to
decent
the
figs,
dirt.
So that was the logical other horse here.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll see. Not much else to say. Race number 3. Race number 3, the P.G. Johnson. I feel so bad that the P.G. Johnson's off the turf. Shouldn't P.G.
With
Johnson...
Anticipation and the P.G. Johnson both.
It's funny, the P.G. Johnson, we think of him in a lot of ways, not as a turf trainer, but he had a lot of success with turf horses. But Valponi, really is obviously his biggest success story. But he had so many good horses. I remember Nasty and Bold. He was in the famous Affirmed Alidar Travers. Broke his maiden up here, I believe, first time out and paid $8. He was a good horse.
I was a kid. I was
Yeah,
young.
You were just born.
Yeah, a year and a half. But I remember hearing the stories. PG loved to chew on toothpicks. So when my dad was an agent, we would always, and he literally would have rode, my dad had your book, he would have rode you. If If you walked in with a helmet and a whip, he'd have rode you. And we always would go to, my mom would go, we'd go shopping. We'd always go to Waldbaum's across the street from the house in Howard Beach. And I would always buy the 1,000-pack of 2-picks. And what are we doing? This is for Mr. Johnson. And I'd bring them over to the barn and give them to PG whenever my dad would take me out in the morning. So PG loved his toothpicks. I mean, loved his toothpicks.
He was a real legend in this game. He trained Quiet Little Table, Pete Forgo, and
Gary's
I believe
Clown later years for the
Gary's Clown, of
guys,
course,
you know, in
incredible
our
racehorse.
generation. Loved Gary.
I
And
wanna
of
say he
course,
trained-
Valpone.
he trained-
Valpone broke the, cracked one of the biggest cases in parimutuel history.
I agree. Well, I remember he got a huge figure. Mig rode him. He won the last race here. They ran him back in the Travers in Point Gibbons year, I believe. But they ran him off a figure. He ran a 1.8 race. He won by about a city block,
I
like
remember
13
this.
lengths. He ran like a 111 buyer. It's a very, very good horse. He's also good running the turf as well. PG was also great doing the shows with Harvey. He used to do those Breeders' Cup shows with Harvey. He was tremendous.
I remember when Valpone came off the layoff, he got
legend.
beat by Speightstown in the slop.
Yeah.
Speightstown paid like $10 in the slop, and it was just like, how did this happen? And PG would do that interesting thing with Valpone where, and it was something Christophe Clement would do with Tonalist a decade and a half later. Blinkers on, blinkers off, kind of keep things a little fresh for him.
He was a good horse that got very good on the right day.
Yes, he did.
But it's not like he was a bad horse. He had
Jose
run-
Santos.
And I don't know how he paid $83 because, I mean, according to people that have bet on him, he paid about
The whole
$8,
world.
right?
My friend Ari was with me at Mohegan Sun, I believe. He bet on him. He bet 50 win in place on him. I saw the ticket.
That was a weird race. Anyhow, I guess Con Lima's going to win this race. A private purchase for Todd Pletcher. You said Jose Ortiz is riding this one. Irad's on the other one.
Irad's on the 5, Jose's on the 6.
I mean, what else are you supposed to do here?
I don't know. I really
Todd's
don't
going to
know.
win this race. He's about 95% to win this race, and probably Con Lima's going to win. He's got a fast race last time out as a speed horse. Thing about Union Gables that they bought from Gary Gullo in his last start her last start, she won a race that completely and totally collapsed. But to be fair, she also had significant trouble early in the race.
She did.
So she'd have some trouble. So the race is better than it looks, but I thought she also was the recipient of a total pace meltdown in the
She
late
picked up
stages.
pieces, but her start almost led you to believe that her day was over right away. But they pace incinerated and she came running. I mean, Con Lima, either of her races are faster than anything else in here.
Yeah.
Even the second place finish on debut in the slop. I mean, she ran a 61 speed figure. It's 5 points faster, 6 points faster than her stablemate.
Yeah, I have nowhere else to go. It does feel like they are very much the two players. Thought race number 4 was kind of interesting. Now, apparently, Stefan was a bit of an early scratch.
You and I were the only two who didn't know that.
You've picked Blunt Force on top for our friend Tom Amos. Who's got Serengeti Empress as the controlling speed, and it's not the Humana distaff anymore. It's the long-winded distaff.
Derby City Gaming.
Let's take a look at the race, and we've left Stefan in. But I do think that Blunt Force did run the best race in here because she battled the other pace setters, or didn't battle, but she kind of moved them early, going 7, and the race kind of fell apart in the late stages. Thought she ran very well, cut back to 6.5 furlongs. She's going to likely stalk in here, and I don't think the pace is contentious today as it was last time, and she just seemed very logical, Ann.
Everything you said. I think the thing to take most out of what you just said is the 6.5. I think the cutback's going to help her.
You love that.
Tremendously. I do. Especially in the sprint races.
You love those 6.5s. Martin, nobody cars more 6.5 furlong races than Martin. He's moved his tack. He was in the saddling area today. He got
It's a
away
big
from
thing in
us.
California when he was out there because of the configurations of the racetracks.
They ran 7.5s at Hollywood.
They did. But that was a weird shoot. I actually didn't mind the 6.5 furlong races out there. I don't really mind them here.
I like 6.5.
because I think they're a nice complement to these horses, and especially when you're on the inner track 4 months out of the year like we used to be. It's nice to have a little bit of
I miss
the
the
different
inner.
distance. Of course, we all do. But yeah, this filly's supposed to work out. You would think have things a little easier today, just for the simple fact it doesn't seem like there'll be as big a crowd
But
as
doesn't
there
it-
was last time.
I'll tell you a horse that's a player in here, and I actually thought about putting her on top, and I always had a fondness
Cotton
for her.
Candy Cutie.
Well, Benji Hernandez has won a bunch of races last week, and isn't Benji just going to put her on the top? I mean, you have to admit, she ran extremely well when Stefan beat her at 7, 3 races back. And now she's been in races that have not been speed-friendly for her. Now she's in a race where she's supposed to clear the lead. You really going to leave her out at a big price? I'm not.
No,
I don't think I don't know if she's going to be 10 to 1.
I
Obviously,
don't
Stefan
think
is
she'll be
scratched.
10 to 1. No, yeah. Well, Stefan scratch number 1.
Do you
Number
think
2.
that my horse is going to be favored over Blunt Force? I don't. mean, he's got the same price. I wouldn't have picked Cover Photo if I thought she was favored. I didn't think she would be.
I'll tell you what Stay
Finger
found
Lakes
out
five
of
furlong
the
race?
Stay found out of the race. This is a weird race to make a line for because I would assume Stay Found would have been made the favorite. Well,
No, she wasn't the favorite there.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to make a line for this race. This is a tough race. See,
I thought Blunt Force had to be favored here. Maybe I'm wrong. I may be wrong. I liked about Cover Photo is that she beat Tied Up, who's come here and won 2 races since then.
Tied Up's been good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought she ran fine. She's got some decent races shipping here for Linda. Thought she was perfectly logical.
Now we always talk about intent. I wonder if Luis Saez tries to bottom them out with "I'll take the cake."
No, he's not faster than the 7, so he can go if he wants. But she was terrible last time. I wouldn't put a nickel on "I'll take the cake" in this race. I want
That's a
absolutely
big drop
no-
for her to win.
It's a big drop. I agree. She was absolutely brutal last time.
But she's dropping for a horse that at one point was in for the tag for a quarter.
I want no part of this horse, Anthony.
right.
I'm using 1 4s and 7s in this race, and she wins, I lose.
I'd be very careful with this horse.
I understand Safi Joseph. Some of these horses have run great up here. She can win. You're right, and maybe you're right that Louis will be aggressive with her, and that'll
Yeah.
help. She was awful last time. Anthony, she was absolutely
I don't disagree,
awful.
but I have a funny feeling he's just going to try and
Run
blast
today?
off with her, and that might be enough in here. It's part of the reason I like Blunt Force. I think if I'll take the cake is aggressively ridden, Blunt Force, it's supposed to kind of fall right into her lap.
Well, and she's not really much slower than the 5, right? What about
Right,
Fair Lassie?
but with intent.
Couldn't Fair Lassie go a little bit in here?
Yeah, but I think she'd be the 3rd speed at this point.
Depends. I don't know. We'll see. More speed, the merrier for the 1. We'll see how it plays
And
out.
the
You're
4.
right.
And I think the
5
4.
You're right. I'm supposed to use the 1 in the pick 5. You're absolutely right about that. I just don't like her. But you're not wrong that
The
she's
5, you mean?
Yeah, that she's dangerous in here. Why not? Race number 5, Off the Turf, closes out the early pick 5.
What did we do at lunches yesterday, by the way? Did you win 2-1?
Yes, I did. You won the
what I
last one when the 1 beat the Todd's horse was terrible in the stake. But I won the other 2. It's the highlight of my day. So we're at 54?
What is that laugh?
We're at 54 lunches.
Is that
Why, do we
like
have a lunch bet coming?
No, I was just. What is that laugh? What was that laugh just now?
I got to be happy about something up here. So the only thing I've won is lunches. Actually, I think we're very neutral on lunches this year. I think we're right around where we were when we got up here.
I think we're exactly where we are.
Race number 5.
Very Downton Abbey of you, though.
Downton. I've never watched Downton Abbey. You
I
watch it?
haven't. Neither have I. But I
So-
know they do that.
What's going on with Constitutional Rage?
I don't know.
I don't know. Why'd you pick
A lot of
horse?
people have some. First time for my man Barkley Tag.
Maybe Institutional Rage?
This horse was entered for turf, obviously, long on the turf. The mare was 3 for 26, no turf, really, with the mare. So that is a little curious to me, but I think this horse has a decent enough work tab. Junior Alvarado climbs aboard for the first time. He was the only other person to ride Tis the Law. He rode him in his debut up here at Saratoga. Source is cutting.
I'm sure he remembers that.
They're going to get the 7 furlongs. Well, he had a right green light go on the Champagne. Going to cut back to 7 furlongs now with the off the turf in here. Remember the 2-year-old races going around on 16th.
I do
Always
remember
cut
that.
Back to 7 furlongs. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to them. Just as a little bit of a refresher.
The notorious They.
They. Yeah,
Them,
they and everybody else.
They knew.
They do. No, now they know. It's at 7 furlongs. Just a little bit of a stab
there
with
a
a
story
horse.
on this horse?
Nah, I got no story.
So, what I really want to ask you is how you have your man Rudy 3rd here. I thought this was a cinch to be a Rudy for you.
The
Is it a
7/8.
So what?
She folded her tent pretty.
She's the horse.
Pretty quickly.
She's the horse to beat.
Yeah,
If
she
I was gonna
probably
put her
is.
on top. I figure she'd be a heavy favorite.
She probably is.
I
don't
she
know.
was-
I just didn't.
She got bet a little bit last time.
I just don't. I mean, 5.5 to
What
7.
about Kara's Dreamer? I mean, I know it's a factor, but there's dirt pedigree. This horse could. I didn't use her, but you've got Mendham second, the Todd Pletcher enter for the turf. I don't know.
Yeah, listen. There's a lot of. This was This became a
Homebred
little
for
bit
Barry
of a
Schwartz
guest
and Andrew
fest.
Rosen.
Joel Rosario is going to ride Eddie Barker's first time start at a 12 sweeter.
No,
And
you don't have a story from
I don't have
from Eddie?
anything. People, you're going to
Eddie
see some.
Skywright that he
You're going to
likes this
see
horse?
some interesting jockey trainer combinations. Keep in mind, what did we figure it out to be? 13 riders.
Yes.
13 riders here.
That was funny.
So you're going to see some, some interesting combinations. Joel's ridden for Eddie in the past. I'm going to use this horse. I'm on a 4 or 5 horse spread in here.
I'm going to stick with a couple horses with experience, the 9 Big Time Lady and the 10 Mashney Girl. Ashley Girl didn't do much running that day, and maybe she does have a little more turf pedigree, to be honest with you. But she was 10-1 that day. Mark Hennig, first-time starter, could have been any price. Felt like this horse took some nibbles. It's not like they were betting because Connor was on. Second-time starter, stretching the 7 furlongs. I want to give this horse another chance. I'm going to stick to the 2 horses that ran, 9s and 10s for me. And I figured the 9 would be a short price, 10 would be a better price, so I put the bigger price on top. What?
Nibbles?
Yeah, nibbles. Nibbles. Took some nibbles. The window. People were nibbling. You've never heard that phrase?
Of course I have. You're in a rare mood today.
Well,
I don't know. You're I don't know. You're very little.
Anthony has a knack for knowing when I've forgotten my mask and picking me up on the way to drive me back home, which he's done twice to meet. The 2 times I forgot. More interesting stories like that, so you got to stick around.
I mean,
Talking
I don't know where
Horses,
you're
taking
going.
a quick break. We'll hear from our good friends at Saratoga Water. We'll be right back.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Thanks for staying with us on Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. He's Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. The late pick 5 kicks off in race number 6 with the Anthony Stabile division of the New York Stallion Series. Do you think that we should have a
We need one.
Yeah, I think that would be apt. I thought this was a very, very interesting race. I do believe that Officer Hutchie is going to take a lot of beating in this race and could be a very short price. And as we look at Officer Hutchie's last race, I think the question you have to ask yourself is whether or not you trust this horse to come back and run anywhere close to that figure she ran just 15, 18 days ago. I got to tell you something. They beat the 3rd horse by 14 lengths. The Todd Pletcher horse that was 2nd had run a 77 by in her prior start. So I don't think it's impossible she moved forward. So if that figure's a little high, it's not high by much. I don't know where it came from. But you know what? This is the first time this horse was in a race since the pandemic where she kind of had a chance, and she ran, and I'm not going to deny it. And I was going to put her 2nd. I'm going to use others in here because I do have a pricey idea. But I got to tell you something. She may just blow this field out of the water.
Andy, where did that race come from?
I know, but she ran it, Anthony. Going to deny that she ran it?
You want her now to do it in a new barn in 18 days?
She doesn't have to do it, Anthony.
No, okay.
She can
So
run about 6 or 7 lengths slower.
You make a great point.
We're all 1 for 1 on the great points today.
But she, I mean,
Anthony had a great point earlier.
doesn't she have to
He's had
react
none since.
off of that number? I mean,
I don't
look.
know.
Granted, she runs that race. She runs 10 points slower. She's
Let me ask you
likely
a
going
question.
to win this race.
Let me ask you a question. You've got Big Q on top.
I do.
Okay. She has been pathetic in her races recently. And you know Big Q? I got a lot of love for Big Q, as you well
do.
know. Anthony, she was brutal last time. Why is she going to run better today?
Well, I got to, and I don't question Hall of Fame riders often, but why was she in the thick of that last time? Was it the draw?
But she's just been aggressive in all her races. I agree. I didn't expect her, but let me say something. The horse who finished 2nd, she was the speed.
And came back and got helped on the racetrack this past Saturday and got the job done going the 7 furlongs. I just don't believe she wants to be ridden that way.
Why is Big Q going to 18 days later, why is she going to get her life back together?
Because I think at the very least she's going to be given or attempt to be given a better trip.
Anthony, I'm just starting to think she's not very good.
You might be right. And
honestly,
you could be right.
Beginning to think that she ran that one big race when I bet her, and I got a little lucky. She ran huge that day.
Tell you what, I almost just put Spinning Yarn on top.
Well, we'll take a look at Spinning Yarn. Spinning Yarn, here she is at Finger Lakes. Well, talking about days, she ran this race just 8 days ago. You're not worried about that a little bit?
Of course I am.
And that 83 buyer, by the way, 2 back, it's too high.
Well,
She was also a nickel.
I guess that's
she
what you
paid
have to worry
$2.10
about, right?
What was he looking for, the rider? Did he drop like $1 or something?
Well, here's my question.
What was he looking
My
for?
question for you is this: she's in a common gallop here, right?
I get it.
Do they know this? They know this race is a week away. Is this nothing more than a paid workout? I mean, you never
Well,
take anything for
had,
granted,
Anthony,
right?
she had just run 4 weeks earlier. Do they need to get another paid workout? Listen, I agree. She can win this race.
She trains, Andy. That's the one thing I noticed. She don't miss a beat. I mean, you look.
Anthony, you're an educated man. She doesn't miss a beat.
She does.
Please.
I'm at the racetrack.
Please, Anthony.
36,
I don't want
48,
people to get the wrong impression about you.
59-1, 59-1, 47-1. She does not miss a beat.
I get you. I've got
She
her
likes
third.
her work.
She can win. I think there's a very interesting horse in this race, and
Let
that's
me guess.
Homedale Park.
Homedale Park.
Well, she's not a turf horse. I know she ran okay 2 races back, but she's not a turf horse. You know what that means. You know what's coming. She was wide against a gold rail 2 back. She has not really been in a race since she came off a layoff where she had a fair chance in them. And this horse that actually showed some talent a couple different times during her earlier life before the pandemic. I think Homedale Park's going to take a step forward and run a big race here for Jimmy Ryerson. I almost put her on top. I put her second. I'll be making 7-1. I'll use her with the 3. I'll even use the 4, Big Q. But I like Homedale Park.
I tried to get it behind Ice Princess a couple of times this winter in the allowance race and in the Maddie May. And
maybe shorter's better.
Maybe shorter's better. I'll tell you what. She better hope shorter's better.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot that she steps forward. I'm not scared of anyone in here. Who am I supposed to be scared of? The important one, Manny Petty, that running daughter of Zevo, whose owner, by the way, interrupted my breakfast with my mom today.
I am skeptical of Officer Hutchie coming back and running that race. Not as much so of Spinning Yarn, just because it looked like it was a paid workout.
It was 8 days ago.
I wonder if Jose
she didn't even run that well.
I wonder if Jose Lozcano just gets aggressive and tries to bottom them out here.
She's the speed.
Jose
continues in in that exceptional meet. I agree. I'm done with Big Q. Maybe she'll win. I hope she does for Gary. I always like to see Gary do well, but I've had.
We haven't heard a Serling off on Twitter. We haven't seen a Serling off on Twitter in a while. Maybe this is the one. This is the one today. I don't even know if you realize it, but every now and then, when one of these horses win that you've followed along, you'll just type Serling off, and it just goes. Yeah. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. I kind of thought about that today when I saw you.
None of my horses, whether I like them or not, on the day are winning up here. Race number 7 is off the turf at 7 furlongs. Where'd you go here?
I went to Team Win.
Okay.
I went to Team Win.
Tell us about Team Win.
At the very least, she has a little bit of competitive dirt form. She's won up here. That was going 1 mile and an eighth last year. The distance is a little.
I know. I bet Kingdom's Queen. I remember it well. It was a painful loss.
Yeah, she's run against.
I'm going to tell you something.
What's left in here? She's just run against better horses.
I'll tell you something funny about her.
On the dirt.
And the track will all likelihood be fast before this race. There is an argument that Team Win is a better dry track horse than wet track horse, and she's gotten a lot of wet track races. And the funny thing is that they weren't even off the turf races. There are 4 sloppy track races that are showing. We're not off the turf races.
Isn't it?
Her only fast track race is actually off the only off track race showing. It's really amusing, actually. It's kind of an anomaly. I agree. She can win. I'm not thrilled with her, but she can win. No question about it. I put her second. She's probably going to be reasonably short in here. I like Let Me Have It. Let Me Have It. You don't have Let Me Have It 1, 2, 3, 4?
I don't like this horse.
Really? You want to bet me a few lunches that she beats the 2 Sky Kitten?
No, I don't have any confidence in anything else.
Anyway, Let Me Have It, I think, is perfectly logical. Trying to go 1 mile and an eighth last time, which is probably a little too far for her. Also against much better horses. Thought she ran fine against Love and Love back in March. Race coming back off the layoff. She was outside, chasing outside against the gold rail. She didn't run badly. She's no superstar, but I think she's every bit as good as anybody in here. And I don't know how short she's going to be. I think the 1 is going to be very short in here.
I do too.
I think she's okay. So I like Let Me Have It.
There it is.
What else are we doing? What else we got here? What about We Don't Believe Her?
Yeah.
I Don't Believe Her.
Claimed back by Rudy. Our Lady of Loretto set wicked fractions 2 back. Same barn. This filly came and ran her down. And then last time out, she didn't run well at all. Up here. Had a little trouble at the start, and then after getting bumped at the start, she kind of rushed, almost like she got turned, like the switch flipped, and she kind of got aggressive. Her day was over. I think she makes a little sense in here.
I'm not a big fan.
Again, 7 for this
I thought
race.
she was just, she can win. I
7
thought she was a
furlongs.
little bit below these horses, but she could win. I picked her third. You know, Ruby's on time as fourth, but you've got to have Louis in there somewhere, right? With Stephanie on fleek.
I was curious that they left this horse in. I don't know anything. Just by orb.
I liked her. I liked her a lot in the turf. By the way, she got a nice ride last time.
That thing last time.
I liked her actually a lot in the turf today in this race, so maybe she'll win in the dirt.
Yeah.
But I liked her. I like her off her last
It's a little
race.
bit of a ride to switch to Joel Rosario from the other guy. Louis Saez, by the way, riding the 6. Let me have it.
Oh.
Arad's on the 12. We don't believe her. And Jose Lascano on the 13. Ruby's in time.
I tell you, you are a veritable font of information.
I am. Thank you.
You really got your game going today. Race number 8. Race number 8 is a very tricky race. Start out simply with the number 3, Palace Avenger. Ran a couple of big figures in a row. She's good. She can win. This is a much tougher field.
Yeah, this was an interesting race last time, too. She broke alertly, was kind of on the lead for a cup of coffee, and then found herself chasing and was able to hold off Carrizo here. I believe Palomita's running over the next few days down at...
you know who's running at Monmouth, by the way?
Churchill. Who?
I believe Saturday or Sunday. Analyze it, making his return.
Wow.
First race since he ran the Breeders' Cup where she should have won.
That's awesome. Little brother ran last Sunday.
Ran third.
Ran third. Couldn't make up the ground on the bog.
Yep. Analyze it back. So
Keep an eye
good
on
to
him
see.
Going forward. Yeah, I mean, it was a good race. She's now run back-to-back races.
She can win. This is just a tougher bunch.
It's a tougher bunch, but I don't think you disagree here. If she runs one of those 2 races, she's likely going to win.
I'm not going to argue. They're fast figures. I have no argument against
Right.
her. I'm not against
I'm like
her
you though.
today.
I feel like I want to take a couple of chances, a couple of shots against her.
I would use her. That's exactly how I felt. Why is Fair Regis, who never wins anymore, going to get it done? How annoying is that thing, by the way?
It's been out. I took it out for 15 minutes ago. Come on, man. You know me and my goofball idea that she wants to be outside of horses, and she's not going to get more
She's been outside
of horses.
and she still doesn't win.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't
don't
it
you
bother
feel
you
like
she just doesn't win?
a little bit? But
She was
don't you
outside
feel
of horses
like
2 back and she didn't win.
But
so
don't you
let's
feel like
stop
now
with that
she's
nonsense.
running against a little bit of an easier bunch?
No, she's running against a lot of the horses she's been running against in those races. Why, you think Into Chocolate some sort of superstar?
I think with On Her Way.
She just doesn't win. She just doesn't win 12 seconds. She's been in some sharp barns.
She's won a quarter of her races, Andy.
I know, but anymore. She doesn't seem to win anymore. It seems like she's stuck in not winning races. I don't know. She can win. I've got her in the mix. I'm not going to be shocked if she wins. I thought Kept True, second off the layoff. The thing about Kept True, I just wonder what kind of trip she's going to get.
Right.
Because I thought in here she might rate a little bit. Now, with the scratch of the number 7, Miss Lily B, that makes Palace Avenger's job a little bit easier and maybe Kept True has to be on her. And I know she's a little dressed up by some slower paces at Aqueduct over the course of the winter, but I thought she had pretty good form. Last time out, she got engaged in a pace that completely fell apart. Thought that was just sort of a good race for her coming off the layoff. Second off a layoff, I thought she'd run a better race, and she was getting good this winter. And I'm going to hope that maybe she can get back to that form for Leah Giamatti. I thought her price would be right.
She has the blinkers on last time. They seem to get her a little more keyed up than usual. I just hope that that's not the case again today. I'm hoping that was more the break.
Maybe she's helped by being more aggressive here with a scratch the 7. Maybe she can sit right on side of.
What about Spanish Point? I mean, I know Spanish Point's probably not as fast
She's
as those 2, but last time out she was. She showed a lot of speed last time.
She's not a factor here. Not really. That was a very slow pace last time. 22 and 4, 45 and 4. That's not a fast pace on the mile. It is 6.5 furlongs.
The first time she was really ridden. The 2 times she's been ridden aggressively though. They were both wins.
I'll be very surprised if Spanish Point is anywhere near the lead in this race, but maybe I'm wrong. We disagree.
What about Bertranda?
Bertranda. So let's take a look at Bertranda 2 races back when she got a great ride by Irad and a very good trip, but she got it done. What do you do with this horse? Because the reality is, other than that one freakish 94 fig, she's too slow to win this race. She's a really neat horse. She's a super consistent horse. Last time out, she didn't show up. I don't know what happened. Now she's been claimed by Orlando Noda. And I know that there was a lot of whining, as there always seems to be on Twitter. I don't know what I said that was wrong or offensive. The guy's horses are running extraordinarily well. And as horse players, you can't leave Bertranda out off the claim from the Noda barn. I'm sorry that offended some people, but I don't understand what the argument is. They're running better than their PPs, and I defy somebody to tell me that they're not.
Here's the issue.
Interpret however you want.
Here's the issue when handicapping this race. The problem when you handicap this race is this. On paper, she is not fast enough, but the way the horses have been running out of the barn, they've been running really, really well.
I mean, even the horse in the last race, who made that crazy big wide middle move,
he made a sustained move and
on the track on the inside and fell apart. I mean, after Pier 40, after he didn't get out of a
got
gallop
a little tired
last
late yesterday, but I mean, he ran. I mean,
and I think that what's his name?
Control group just can't handle a wet track anymore.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
People
That's what happens when
mistakenly
horses get older.
Exactly. I think people mistakenly think.
Linda had the horse for Barry Schwartz.
That horse
used
just
to
can't
love
run
the
a wet track anymore. You could see right away.
And you see it the other way around, too. Sometimes horses hated wet tracks when they were younger. They get on wet tracks now, and they absolutely love them.
Not too often, but
I worry about.
Give me an example.
Not that I worry.
You've got some time.
I just told you the horse that went to Korea.
Papa Shot?
Yeah.
No, he liked a wet track. Now he hates it.
Oh, is he the same as them?
Yeah.
I thought that was the other way around.
No, he liked a wet track. He ran that huge figure that day. I think he ran a bigger figure than the Met Mile or something that day at Belmont.
Oh, yeah, you're right. All right. Scratch that from the record, counselor. I mean, I worry. I mean, Joel, he put Freaky Styley on the lead yesterday.
All I'm saying is, I'm not. You've got the horse second. I've got her second. And both
of
of us will agree on paper she's not good enough to beat these horses. It's a highly competitive horse going into a barn whose horses are all running extremely well. It is what it is. But as handicappers, I'm going to.
Her presence in this race, especially being drawn on the rail, makes it a lot more difficult to get a great grip on this race.
I understand that we come up here and give reasons why we like our horses. But why questions in general are very unnecessary questions. They're running very well. Race number 9, I don't know what else to say in race number 9. It's now off the turf with a 3-horse field, and Foxtail easily beat Traipsing 2 back, or last time. 2 back for her, last time for Traipsing. Maybe Traipsing will run better today.
Traipsing's in the end. Traipsing's is gone, my friend. There's nothing.
Oh.
1, 2, 5. That's it.
Oh, I thought the
nothing left. No, sir.
I thought Traipsing was running.
No.
Well, this horse is going to be 1 to 9.
1 to 9.
1 to 9.
Nothing else to say. I mean, I don't know what to say.
All I can say is that Nico's Dream's never been on the turf.
Right.
That horse almost.
And how
about that horse almost winning yesterday for Kimmel? By the way, on the rail, Willing to Dream.
Willing to Speed.
Willing to Speed.
This horse, Nico's Dream, the half sisters running around here, that they kept running on the dirt when she had the turf pedigree, and yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Cameo.
It would be a surprise, right? I mean, Tass. I was playing. I think it was part of the cross country pick 5, that Robert Dick Memorial down at Delaware.
Richard Dick. Is it Robert or Richard? No, Robert. You're right.
I mean, she was loping along on the lead. She just, with a half mile ago, she just completely.
I bet her in that race.
So, you know, I mean,
she actually ran fairly well in the team win race, but those are cheaper horses.
I assume Tass is just going to go. Foxtail and Errata, he's junior riding the 5 Foxtail.
That's a win for him.
And this race goes to a mile and an eighth, by the way. It's not a mile and 3/16. It's a mile and an eighth. So I assume he just sits there and he's not going to engage.
It is what it is.
Get himself cooked up.
It is what it is.
And if Nico's Dream can dirt, you know what? Based on Foxtail's race 2 back, she better be able to really run on the dirt because Foxtail ran okay that day.
I agree. I completely agree. Race number 10. Off the turf at 7 furlongs.
Looking forward to this race on the turf.
My Sweet Wife.
Yeah, just going to try and get a little goofy with my man Jorge Bray, who's having a fantastic meet up here.
Broke his elbow.
Really?
He was saying a loose horse ran into a golf cart he was in and he broke his elbow. Poor guy.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
You figure a golf cart. The only time I ever got hit with a golf ball on a golf course was in the cart.
You know the only time I get hit by a golf ball? Never. Why is this horse? There's some reasonable dirt horses in here, Anthony. What are we doing here?
This horse, the mare was 1-4 on the dirt, and then went to the turf.
Yeah.
Cutting back with a couple of.
She wasn't a tag horse, was she? Sometimes I was thinking it was one of those Elizabeth Lando horses, Love and Marriage.
She's Argentinian bred. Okay. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I don't know.
couple of turf sprints, cuts back to a couple of turf routes. Gets again. This goes to 7 furlongs, so she gets to go 7 on the dirt.
But
offered a little bit of a break.
it's a total guess, though, in a race where
It's a little bit of a guess, but here's what I will say. I've kind of had enough of Harlem Heights, and they were ready to put Harlem Heights on the dirt.
Well, she's a
on the turf
point of entry. But let me say something about Harlem Heights. She didn't get the best of trips.
She didn't, but I'm going to say another thing.
That may not have been Jose's best ride.
I'm going to say another thing about the point of entry thing, and this is just an overall observation. This mare's 23 years old now.
But this horse has run good races.
Yeah.
She ran fine behind Papa Chalk, and only you are afraid to admit is good. She ran extremely well in that race on October 5th. What's wrong with her?
I don't like the fact that they were just. It looked to me like Suge gave her the two dirt sprints and was ready to stretch around on the turf. Now, like you said, she's run well enough. She can win. I want to take a little shot.
What about Yes to Mischief, who took money last time out and didn't run particularly well, but she didn't run that badly?
Listen, you and I, Save My Sweet Wife. We saw this race pretty similar.
Yeah, I just don't. Sweet My Sweet Wife seems like a complete and total guess. Love and Marriage was Chad, actually. Thank you, Steve. Should have known that, Anthony. You should have known it. What about Halo City? Going back to the dirt. She's got some decent dirt races.
Yeah, blinkers go on.
See, the thing
You're going to be excited about this. Cheek pieces off.
Ooh. Here's my problem with My Sweet Wife. She has to be a better dirt horse than she was a turf horse to win this race.
Okay.
Do you really think that's likely?
I don't know if it's likely or not. I'll find out at 5-1.
5-1?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to bet her anything under 15-1.
Well, she won't be 15-1.
Then I wouldn't want to bet her.
Barnes winning at 35%.
Then I wouldn't want to bet her.
Okay.
I mean, it's one thing to take a complete stab with a horse trying the surface that they've had no interest in running the horse on when there's nobody else in the race. But anything goes. First-time starter.
Safi, you got to go 7 first time out.
I like the 4, 5, and 8.
Probably would have been a little more interesting had there been more moisture in the. Had she run yesterday, I'd have been a little more interested. Inside, wet track.
It's a 460 Tomlinson.
I mean,
when you used to make the Tomlinson numbers.
We have 2 minutes for the story, right? That's how I was able to save with Birdstone in the Belmont Stakes in 2004.
Why?
I called Lee, who used to make the numbers before selling.
I did not really know him. I met him a few times. He was a lovely
Good guy.
Yeah.
Before selling
He's
the
run
formula.
those tours going over to Europe to racetracks. Harvey Pack used to go.
He sold the formula.
Harvey's doing well, by the way. I know people always ask about Harvey. Sorry.
My dad was asking about him the other day. He sold the formula, and apparently the formula was tweaked from Lee's original formula.
Right.
And he said the only 2 horses that could beat this horse are Eddington and Birdstone. And I called Jerry Brown from Thoroughgraph Sheets. I said, the only 2 horses that could beat this horse are Eddington and Birdstone. And when I made my pick 4s, we didn't have pick 5 back then. When I made my pick 4s, I was like, you throw them in. I want to say Grand Reward beat Relaxed Gesture in the Manhattan, the race before that Belmont Stakes.
I remember I got buried that day.
I want to say that happened. I could be wrong. Could have been the next year. But the pick 4 paid very well, and because of Lee and Jerry, I hit the pick 4. Lee paid $7,200 for $2.
Boy, I don't know about you, but I am really glad we had time for that story.
We had a couple of minutes.
Anthony,
I'm just saying
you have good stories. That one was the bottom. I mean, nobody has more good stories than you. That story, don't ever tell that story again.
What's wrong with that story, man?
I'm sorry. I apologize that you had to listen to that story.
You have 2 guys well-respected in the business give you a $78 horse as the only horse that could beat an undefeated.
Did you just suggest
horse?
Jerry Brown was well-respected in the industry? He is, Jerry. I was kidding. I don't want to get him upset. He gets mad when I tease him. All right.
Lee left us years ago, but, Jerry's still around.
He did.
I didn't see Jerry this year up here.
I saw him.
I didn't go out.
I saw him. He walked by Hamlet and Ghost one night. I did not move from the bar. But I did see him and wave. All right. We done?
I believe so. We'll do it again tomorrow. You want to do it again tomorrow? Early tomorrow.
That's
11
right.
o'clock,
11 o'clock tomorrow. 12 race
10:15
extravaganza tomorrow. The New York
Saturday.
Reds. 10:15 on Saturday. I'm just going to sleep over.
That's what I'm going to do.
You need to head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member. Join Naira Bets. Support racing in New York.
That's the law.
Yes, it is. We'll give you a free $25 play. We will match it with $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code Derby25. Head to Naira Bets. Become a member. You can participate in the many great things it has to offer, like a $2,000 hit and split. You play the late pick 5 on the app and the app only through Naira Bets today, and you hit it. You will split $2,000 with any and all people that hit it, which does not have to be a large number. Saratoga Sunday Contest, the last one, $250 buy-in, all cash prizes, and we will seed the pool with $2,500. Register now at naira.com/challenge. And finally, last but certainly not least, Saratoga Live from 1 to, I think, 6:30 today.
Yeah, 6:18.
I'll be
last
on
post.
early today. You can go to naira.com/Saratoga Live, find out where to watch. You can always watch the Naira YouTube channel, as well as a plethora of channels. We done?
I believe so. We just got to do one thing now.
Oh, John Embrial, the voice of New York Racing, along with a reprise, the Scratches and Changes.